I've never been a big energy drink guy. Okay, I've never been one to really even like coffee or anything, any sort of drink that has any sort of additional stimulants, like outside of water. I'm kind of a bit of a prude when it comes to that stuff. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't a gigantic industry selling millions, billions, potentially trillions of dollars worth of products every single year, and still they're quite unregulated, and they could potentially be, if consumed in a large enough quantity, quite dangerous for your overall health. So energy drinks face new restrictions abroad. Could the United States be next in line? Well, if RFK Jr. is, just going to be that same type of health hawk over the top of it, I wouldn't be surprised. The United Kingdom is moving to ban the sale of high caffeine energy drinks that children and governments around the world increasingly target the products. Okay, energy drinks might seem harmless, but no, they aren't. But the sleep, concentration, and well-being of today's kids are all being impacted, while high sugar versions damage their teeth and contribute to obesity. The move comes amid mounting pressure from parents, teachers, health experts who blame the drinks for mood swings. Well, yeah, you'll just blame something else because you're bad parents. The 2024 study published in Public Health found that youth consumption was linked to ADHD-like symptoms, suicidal thoughts, heart health issues, insulin resistance, and more. How can we expect children to do well in school if they have the equivalent of 4 cans of cola in their system on a daily basis? I beg your pardon, it's that bad? Holy. Government data shows that 100,000 children in the UK alone, consume at least one high caffeine energy drink daily. Shit, man. With a third of teens and nearly a quarter of preteens drinking them weekly. Yeah, because when I was in high school, Monster was just first coming on the scene. Okay, so that's just kind of dating me a little bit. But yeah, the green cans, and then eventually got the white Monster that was out there. That would be the go-to staple for the guys wearing the white Oakley sunglasses. Just as how chemically they smell, they always was like, yeah, that's probably not the best thing for you, but who knew how awful it was. Officials estimate the ban could prevent obesity in up to 40,000 children. A typical energy drink contains the same amount of caffeine as 2 espressos. Streetings. Wow, that's crazy. The ban would affect popular drinks like Red Bull, which contains about 80 milligrams of caffeine, the same as a 1 espresso or 2 cans of soda, and Monster, which contains about 160 milligrams of caffeine. Lower caffeine soft drinks, teas, and coffees would not be affected by the ban. The restriction, which would cover shops, restaurants, vending machines, and online sales, would apply to drinks with over 150 milligrams of caffeine. And a 12-week public consultation is now underway, and the ban is expected by the spring. So maybe it's in place by the time that we hear this. But even if it isn't, you should probably know the facts about these energy drinks regardless. Similar measures are under consideration in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, while countries including Lithuania, Latvia, Turkey, and Sweden already have restrictions in place. In the United States, there is no federal level regulations that restrict the sale of energy drinks. Legislation in the state of Connecticut was introduced later this year to prohibit the sale of energy drinks with at least 80 grams of caffeine per 9 fluid ounces to anyone under 16, but it failed to pass. Interesting, because, well, the research behind caffeine, it's difficult to really quantify and to really pinpoint why it would be bad for somebody. So, hate to use all those technical terms, like it could be bad for you, but still, it's really, really, really tough to pin down why caffeine shouldn't be something so widely consumed by kids. The White House's Make America Healthy Again commission is recommending that these agencies, like the Federal Trade Commission, explore guidelines to limit marketing unhealthy products, including possibly energy drinks to children. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay, if you don't want to ban stuff, which I'm totally fine, keeping the government out of full regulation like that, but to just dissuade the marketing, yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, influencers make these drinks look fun, cool, or even necessary to perform well, but that's far from the truth, said Dr. Stacy Stevenson, a functional and integrative medicine expert in Chicago and a member of the American Nutrition Association. Kids are incredibly impressionable, and when they see trusted figures pushing these drinks and they think that they're safe or essential, but in reality, they're overloading their bodies with sugar and stimulants, disrupting hormones and draining energy over time, Stevenson told Fox News Digital. Yeah, exactly, man. Because I guess I'm kind of the last of that generation that, was introduced, to your rock stars, to your Monster much, much, much later in life. And so I didn't really grow up with this stuff, as opposed to soda and all that stuff in the vending machines at school. But I cannot see the benefit, okay? Like, if you aren't going to have coffee for kids, why would you have something that has an even higher caffeine content if you're worried about over or hyperactivity and a slew of sugar in there? It just it begs the question. So yeah, potentially, while nothing is on the books right now in regards to regulation, I wouldn't be surprised if something isn't coming down the pike very, very soon. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.